Good morning, guys. Good afternoon, depending on what time you're watching this video. On this video, I'm gonna go over Module 1, Lesson 1 for the mapping lesson. I'm gonna go through the directions and I'm gonna be modifying my map. And also, I'm gonna be giving you guys the answers, right, as promised. So in this video, once again, I'm gonna go over Module 1, Lesson 1. That way you can watch it at your own time and whatnot. Just letting you guys know, my power school is down, so I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys the directions and the map. So once I open my directions, this is module 1, lesson 1, the basic and geographic inquiry method, right? This is a mapping lesson that we have been talking about, right? We talk about phone lines and population, right? So we're gonna go down the road with the task. So task 1 is it's a set of directions. There's little numbers, one, two, three. Those are directions, and then we get down to the first question will be over here with the Q1, right? Remember, you should have a Google Doc, separate Google Doc to write your questions down. All right, I'm just gonna tell you guys the answers, and that way you have to pay attention and go from there. All right, so module 1, lesson 1, the basics and geographic inquiry method, right? We kind of talk about this. Task 1, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and open the map, right? So here's the link to the map. We're going to be working with a map that has already been created for us. So the map is going to look like this. Um, and we know because when we go back, it tells you this should look something like this. So it does look like that. So we're good, right? Also, it says right here that once you have your map open, you can click modify map, or also another thing you can do, you can log into your account. So once again, you can either modify map or sign in. I recommend to go ahead and sign in just in case you want to save your map and want to continue working throughout. I'm just going to click modify map for now, but make sure you go ahead and sign in with your RGIS login. If you remember your login, you can always email me. I can reset your password, right? So click modify map. I'm not gonna want to get too ahead, so let's go modify map. Step 4, no. Step 5, go ahead and you want to see the contents, right? Click on content area of your map, right? So you want to know, you want to see what contents are in your map. So here, when you click contents, you have all the layers, right? You have large cities, 100,000 large cities, rivers, lakes, and countries, right? So that's the layers that you have for this map. The ones that have a check mark, that means that they turn on. If they're on check, that means that the layers turn off, right? We kind of know that already. All right, so enlarge the map. It's already full screen, right? That's one of the things right here, in case you have a really small map, but you want to make it big, right? So we keep going. Like I said, I'm not gonna read through every single set of directions, I don't want to make it too long of a video. But when you guys do your mapping lessons, please read carefully and see what they're asking, right? All right, so working with layers, so we already know this is the basic. So the RGIS online map is made up with layers, right? So far we have 6 layers. We have large cities of 100,000, large cities, rivers, lakes, countries, and a base map coordinate system, right? Each layer, except the last layer, has a small box in front of it, right? So remember, all the layers have one, two, three, except this one because that's your base map. You cannot turn off or turn off that base map layer. You can only modify it or change it, right? That's one of the things that I've been talking about. That is your starting point, remember, for a map. So, so we're gonna be working on turning on in layers. Like I said, if there's a check mark like this one, that means that the layers turn on, and then if it's on check, then that layer is turned off, and we'll see what happens. So you should know this already. Well, here, large city for $100,000. Once I click on it, then we have data in our map, right? That means that this layer, large cities of $100,000, sorry, dollar, 100,000 population is turned on, and then if I uncheck it, that means the information is no longer there. So once again, so now they want you. So click the box next to large cities to turn on the layer. So large cities, when I turn that one in, turn on, I'm sorry. And we want to turn on rivers and lakes. So two more, rivers and lakes. So here's rivers and here's lakes, right? And then you see the little dots. There's a large cities, right? So that's where it's at. So now we have our first question. Question one: which layers are turned on in the content invisible on your map? So after we did the directions, what layers are turned on? Question one. Remember, the layers are turned on are the ones with a check mark. So for your answer for question number one, your answer should be large cities, rivers, lakes, and countries. So you should have four layers. Layers, large cities, rivers, lakes, and countries. That should be your answer for number one. All right. So we did number one. Remember, go back to it and then go from there. Now we're going to talk about task four. We're going to talk about the geographic inquiry process, right? I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that. You already kind of know. We're going to be asking a question and then develop a hypothesis, right? So the whole point of this lesson is, do the number of phone lines vary proportionally with the number of people among the world's most population countries? So that means, once again, the ratio of phones, is it the same in different countries around the world? So that's going to be the question that we're going to try to answer. So question two: what makes this a geographic question? Basically, how come we can use this question? How come we can use RGS Online to answer this question? So, question two: what makes this question a geographic question? And the answer is because it talks about location, or it talks about location, and then by using location, you can map the results. So what makes this a geographic question? Because it has a location-based um, data. All right. Now, question three: write a hypothesis that answers the geographic questions, right? If you would for a scientific inquiry. Question three: I'm gonna go ahead and go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say that hypothesis indicated is. I want to say that no, the question three, I want to say that to answer this question, no, cell phone lines do not vary proportionally in the number of people among the most populous country. Right. So I'm saying that there are going to be different ratio of cell phones or phones per people in the different countries and different cities around the world. All right. So that's my theory. Remember, this is your own opinion. We're gonna just think about that, right? Just in a guess. All right, just keep going. Now we're gonna add a layer in your map, right? So now it's really important. We have not this before, but we want to add information to our map, right? So we want to turn step 14, turn off rivers and lakes. So let's turn off rivers and lakes. So rivers, lakes, get rid of them. Now on the add data, down arrow, search for layers. We're gonna we're gonna search for something, right? So we want to search for a layer. So when you go search a layer, we have details. We want to add. So when I click here, add. We want to click here, search for a layer. So now we have RGS Online, and we can type in something in here to search, and then we have more than 10,000 layers that we can choose from, right? And then now we're gonna type in right here in the search, we're gonna world, countries, phones. All together, no spaces. So world, countries, phones. I'm gonna just kind of like cheat and then copy and paste. I don't have to redo it. So here, Control V, world, countries, phone, all together, no space. Then you click enter in your keyboard, and there it is. So we have one layer, world, countries, phone by mapping a world. So now I'm gonna add that layer, right? So choose add layer. So once you find it, like in here, you click add, right? So you can do it two ways. You can click on this plus circle, or you can just double click on that, right? So once again, you can click on that, you get more directions, and then I can add it to my map. Bam. So now I'm adding add layer to my map. So now you notice my map changed because this layer is on. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this, go back, and I wanna go to content, and now you see it says world countries phones is turned on and it's on the top. So now that's turned on. So now we have just added a layer of information, right? So um, so you're done adding the layers. You go back. So it's question 4. What is the name of the layer that has been added to your table of contents? So what is the name that we just the layer that we just added? And it's this one: world countries phones. World countries phones. That's the answer for number 4. So question 5, I'm sorry, can you guess as to what data this layer has in by its name? So just by looking at his name, of the layer world countries phones, let's see, can you guess what kind of data does it have? And I'm just gonna guess that it talks about phones per country, right? And population, right? So number 5, can you guess what kind of data? So talking about phones and population. All right. No, if a country doesn't fit it, remember zoom in, zoom out so you can see all of them, right? So task phone. So I have answered 5 questions so far, guys. All right, so now we're gonna explore the world phone lines land map. So currently the layer we just added is one color, right? The purple one. Yeah, that's good, but like we want to make it better. So we want to visually export the data. So we want to change the style, right? So go over world countries phone so you can kind of like glance at it, like and click change style. So we're gonna change the style of the map of that layer. So here we are. If you notice that there's nothing in there, you can actually click on the layer, and then this appears. And then if you're not sure what that is, you can see show legend, show table, then change style, and you can even have more options, right? You can do a lot more to that layer. So we're gonna change this style to that layer. So before we get into, let me see directions. Um, so to change it, we want to be something to focus on, right? We're gonna look at phone lines. So the attribute to show that basically there is a lot of things going on in that layer, but we want to focus one thing and make it distinct. So we're gonna look for phone lines. Here it is, phone lines. Make sure you click this one, not the year one. So phone lines, click that. And then this is analysis already happening, right? Remember I was talking about the system is really smart. Once you do that, it kind of tells you what's happening. Note that the counts and amounts color drawing cell is now chosen. Click options. We're gonna change it. Um, want to change the colors symbols to the 6 row color, right? So you have counts and amounts. So that's good. This is chosen, and then click options in the middle. We're gonna change the color. So here's options. Remember constant amount by color. So that means that you want to do by color options, and then you have all this data that the system is already doing. You don't have to do anything. So what I want you guys to do is go ahead and click on symbols, so that way you can change the symbols. So it tells you that to choose, scroll down and choose the 6 row of color ramps, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just gonna choose this one, then click OK. I mean, the color scheme is important, but like it's not super important in the sense that you have to get it just right. Click OK. Place the check mark in classified data box and choose natural break of 5 classes to the pull down menu. So in the left hand side, you'll see this. You have to click classified data, not natural breaks, and 5 classes. Just know that's just part of dealing with data, guys. So in here, so classified data, that's on check. You have to click on that. natural breaks, and we want to do 5 natural breaks. So we want to separate the data in 5 different sections, right? It was 4 before, and natural breaks, the system um, has a number, and then otherwise you can pull this number the back and forth, but I don't recommend you messing with it. If for whatever reason you messed up, you can always go back, right? And then start lower. So you have that, and then you see in here, click the -99 at the bottom and make it 0. So there's no any negative numbers. So here's a 99. Click on that. I'm gonna make it 0. And then here it is. Doesn't really change much, but at least you don't have negative numbers in there. So so number 27, place a check mark and draw features without a range or no value. So there's a gray area. So that means this right here, draw features out of range with no value. So that means if you have no information on that, no data on that map, you can click on this and it tells you that it's going to be gray. So that means any country in the world that we have no information, it's going to be gray, right? All right, well, we have a lot of things, right? So click OK to accept the color change, right? 27, click OK. So now we go down, click OK, and then click done. So we already just changed the style of that layer to make it more easier to see, right? So click on the two ellipses, choose transparency, and drag the slider to 0. So we're working on the same layer. This is ellipses, more options. We want to see transparency, and then we want to make it 0, so it's easier to see the different colors, right? So now each color by country represents different information. That is going to be really helpful to answer their questions. All right, hover over world country layers, click on the three ellipses appear OK, and rename, type the world lines, land, foreign land. So we want to change the name of that so we know what we're looking at. So it says click on the three ellipses and then click rename, and we're gonna type in this stuff. So I'm just gonna copy it. That way I don't have to type the whole thing. Copy it, and then I'm gonna go back to map. So this we want to rename it. Click on here, rename the layer. So there you go, word phone line, separate it, and then phone lines. Click OK. Boom, you just rename the layer, right? It has the same data, you just rename the layer, right? So now hover over the line and you see that, it's not gonna be all together, world phone lines is separated, right? So now we look at our map, and then we're gonna see that the layer that we just created and we just modify, basically that's the one we're working with, and it tells you that it's from lightest to darkest, right? So our map has a lightest to darkest. All right, to tell us to turn on the so click on this, and then we're gonna click on the legend. We wanna every layer might have a legend, so we do have a legend for this. And then this one, it tells you the color means different things, right? So we're gonna be working that. So it says 31. Click on the legend so we know what we're working with, right? And then let's go question 6. What color of the legend of the world phone lines layer that we just created indicates countries with the fewest phone lines? So gray, that means other, that means that you have no information. The fewest is gonna be like the light khaki color. That means that these countries right here have phones of like 0 to 2 million, point 5, 2.5 million, right? And the darker there is, the more phones there is. So you see United States are dark. Um, over here, Mali, for example, that has population, stuff like that. Or when you have information like that, you can click on the next arrow because it's 1 or 2. So this one has a lot of information because a lot of things just turn on. We're looking at phone lines. So Mali, for example, have phone lines of 75,000 phones, right? So it's light gray because it falls in this region. So if you click here in the United States, it's going to be about 58 million to 350 million. So let's see United States. Uh, United States of America population. Let's see. Phone lines, 268 million phones in the United States. So a lot. All right. So once again, question that's just beside the point, but what color indicates on the legend that the country with the fewest phones? So like a really light khaki or beige color, this color, that means that the fewest phone, right? So that's the answer for number six. What color indicates the country with the most phones? The opposite, the dark maroon, the dark red, brownish color, right? I'll take that answer. So number seven. Number eight, what color indicates the countries with no data, right? There is nothing, no data on that. So if you did the steps right, that means that like gray color, that's the one with no data. Remember, if you the color scheme is a little different, don't freak out. As long as it doesn't look exactly like mine, as long as you can see the different colors as a good part. So six, seven, eight, it talks about the colors and the population. Now notice that the colors of the legend change gradually from lightest to darkest. Name this type of legend, graduated color legend. What other layer in your map have a graduated color legend? So you already know that that map, that layer has that the color. So now we want to know, is there any other layer in here that has the same legend? So we're gonna, let me turn that off. So large cities, let's see. No, they just have circles, right? Large cities, nope, they just have dots. Let's see, rivers, nope. Lakes, nope. Uh, Countries, nope. So no other layer in here has a color scheme to represent data, right? And you can just go and do that. All right, so that's question nine. So now we're gonna be working with something else. I'm gonna stop, go ahead and go step there. So you have the first nine question of 32. Then question step 32, just letting you guys know that you're gonna recreate that layer, and then but we're gonna choose a different attribute to show. So you're gonna do the same thing, but now you're gonna do population in 2015, natural RAM blue, some kind of blue RAM, natural breaks, 5 classes, check mark, and everything. All right. Remember, read very carefully, guys, about your map. Pretty straightforward. So I just answered questions 1 through 9. Um, Pretty straightforward, guys. All right. So good luck with your with the mapping lesson. All right.